Ninham Mountain in Carmel, New York, a criminally underrated place to ride. And in this video, I'm going to show you why. In this video, I'm going to go over what makes Ninham Mountain so criminally underrated and what makes it so special. I'm going to break down the trails I got to ride over this past weekend, and I'm going to talk about what they are and what makes them special. I think this place is criminally underrated, and it should be on everybody's radar in the tri-state area, and honestly, in the Northeast just in general. The first trail I want to highlight is called Pinner. It is by far Ninham's piece de resistance. This is my favorite trail there, and in my humble opinion, again, I'm just a guy, is the best trail on the mountain. Like the name suggests, you can just pin this trail and let it go. It is fast, it is techy, and it is chunky. But boy, when you can find a trail like this that just has that tech flow to it, it is hard to beat. It's a long way climb to the top, but once you get there, you could bomb this trail and it takes probably maybe less than 2 minutes to get to the bottom. Once you cross over the stone wall towards the bottom, you're going to get to a more of a hiking trail, which is still technically a part of Pinner, but it's going to meander a little bit until it makes a hard right into a cool little rocky chute section, which is a really nice way to end the trail. I love this trail because it really helps, especially this time of year where you're seeing the video with all the leaves down on the ground. It's mid-November. It helps with bike balance because everything here at Ninham is loose, but it's also very chunky. It's great practice for bike parks. It's great practice for just any tech riding in general. This would be a perfect warm-up for the other more technical trails at Ninham, but this trail, if honestly I could just lap this trail all day and feel comfortable with that and love it. 5 out of 5. The next trail I want to highlight is Hell's Gate. Hell's Gate is probably my second favorite trail there, and it's because it's broken up into 3 distinct sections. There's Upper Hell's Gate, there's Hell's Gate, and then there's Lower Hell's Gate. Now, all 3 of these trails have different trail ratings. Upper Hell's Gate is a black diamond, Middle Hell's Gate or regular Hell's Gate is a blue square, and then Lower Hell's Gate is a double black diamond. Now, these are trail ratings for a mountain that's not a bike park. Realistically, it might be a blue trail with a couple black sections in it. I don't really think that any of it is warranted a double black. Upper Hell's Gate is fantastic. It has a couple really cool rock rolls, and then with some really shooty, rocky sections that kicks you back out into Pinner. You'll cut into Pinner and then cut right back in to stay on regular Hell's Gate at that point. You can either make a left or you can make a right. Now, if you go to the left, that's the more punchy technical section. If you stay to the right, it's going to be a little trail that on Trail Forks is called To the Gates. That's usually what I do. I get a real quick climb up there and it kind of gets me and it skips around the real punchy rocky climbs, which I'm not really good at admittedly, but if that's your thing, stay to the left when you get there. Now, when you get to Hell's Gate, the actual trail, this is probably the most technical, steep section on the mountain. It is not properly rated. I would say it's probably closer to a black just because of how steep it is, and especially this time of year, it's really leafy. There's not a ton of grip, and even during the summer, the rock is really loose and it can be dry. It's a lot of fun though. There's a lot of drop chutes and there's a lot of dug-in kind of catch berms. Towards the end, there's a big drop. It's a high-speed drop, and then it goes into a real kind of shooty, rooty section to end the trail. Now, my second favorite trail, I guess if you're going to break them up on the whole mountain, is Lower Hell's Gate. It's very short, sweet to the point, and with the e-bike, I lap it all day. You enter on you can almost miss the entrance of the trail, but it's right off the road. There's a little drop at the top that you can roll. I prefer to roll it because it's basically a huck to the flat if you don't. And then it's just how fast can you maintain speed, steep flat corners with a couple of high speed drops on the trail, and they are fantastic. This trail is, if you have an e-bike especially, just lap this trail for a few minutes and just get better at your balance, your cornering, your high speed drops. I love that trail. 4 out of 5 for me. The middle section of Hell's Gate is a little not my cup of tea, let me put it that way. I don't like punchy climbs. Now you might be saying to yourself, alright, I've seen the trails, I've seen the downhill, but what about the climb trails to get to the up trail? Or if you're not, I'm going to tell you anyway. Ninham Mountain probably has the easiest climb trail out of any mountain I've ever been to. The main section of climb trail is just a fire road. If you're on a regular bike and not on an e-bike, it's pretty steep and it's pretty demanding, but it's doable. It's super doable. It's super easy. And even when you get to the section at the bottom of Lower Hell's Gate to get back to the parking lot, it's just the road. Super easy. Steep, but super easy to do. The next trail is top notch. Now, this video you're watching and this footage you're seeing is the first time I actually rode this trail. The first time I went there, I did not know that this trail existed, and I'm kind of bummed. I kind of wish the first time I rode this trail wasn't in the leaves. This one doesn't see as much traffic as the other trails do because I think it's a little further off the main beaten path. But it's fun nonetheless. I'm looking forward to riding it again in the summer when there's no leaves down and it's easier to follow the trail, and I just know the trail better. The top section is really technical and has a couple steep chutes that are really chunky. I think the one time I lost the trail was on this one really steep downhill, and I blew over the catch berm, and I wasn't sure where to go, but that was more of the leaves. I'm sure once that's away, it'd be pretty obvious. Towards the middle of the trail, it kind of flattens out a little bit, but it does have some nice downhill sections, nothing too technical. A couple little drops here sprinkled in here and there. My one complaint with this trail is towards the end of the middle section, there's this kind of odd climb that you almost have this sense of, am I in the right place? You're in a bit of rhododendrons and rocks, and you kind of look around and the trail isn't super obvious to where it goes. It makes a hard right turn. Outside of that, though, it was pretty fun. Towards the end of the trail, I started to get a little more comfortable riding that trail and kind of getting more of an idea of where it went. There's a cool little hip jump right at the end that you can either go left and it'll take you more down a shooty exit, or you can stay to the right, which is I think the main line, the A line, and there's a hip jump on the side which then shoots you back down the hill. In the video, I ride it very poorly because it was, when I tell you this trail was beyond slippery with all the leaves, there was just zero grip, and I almost put myself into a sapling. This trail to me is, I'll say a 3 out of 5. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm just a guy, as always. I like the trail, and maybe it's just because it's my first time riding it, I couldn't find the flow, but there's too many sections of interrupting the flow. And that's not even just to say with climbs. It just is kind of confusing sometimes where the trail goes. Now, again, in the summer, I really do want to revisit this, but still a good trail nonetheless, has a proper blue square rating. I also want to highlight this trail here, which you're seeing. This is Rigid Bob. It's the only other major trail that I didn't get a chance to ride this weekend. This footage is from over the summer on my old Hero 9. That's why it doesn't look the best. This trail is fantastic. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. It's not my favorite because it's a little more on the enduro side than it is downhill. A lot of punchy climbs, but a lot of the rock rolls and rock features are really cool. If that is your thing, this trail is a perfect 5 out of 5 for you. So in conclusion, what do I think of Ninham Mountain? Ninham Mountain's quickly becoming one of my favorite places to ride. I would even venture to say it's my quote-unquote local trails. It's like 45 minutes from my house, but that is kind of as close as it gets for me from where I live. I really like that this place is really raw. It has kind of an old school vibe to it. I don't know when some of these bike trails were built, but it feels like whoever built them, it was a passion project, and you can really tell that somebody who cared about mountain biking built them. I love fast tech, flow tech. I do have a bit of a racing background, so that's sort of why I like these types of trails. But most of the trails have those really fast, chunky sections where you just have to be on it. I also like the fact that it's not overrun with people. I would love to see more people go there, but it's not one of those places that, even on today, it was a beautiful Saturday, low 60s, high 50s, and I think I maybe saw one other person with a bike there. I saw some hikers, which you will run into, but everybody's more than friendly, and everybody kind of stays off the trails, and they kind of just hike up to the fire tower on the fire road. Obviously, that makes sense. That's what the fire road's for. These videos you're seeing right here are kind of the best of the rest. There's a separate location of Ninham, and I'm not entirely sure if these trails are sanctioned or not. They're on Strava. They're not on Trail Forks. I will just give you the hint that they're on the opposite side of the road, and it is a loam factory, and it is a new dirt DH type of trail. I really hope everybody who watches this will get in the car and drive to Ninham. I really do. I really love this place, and I really would love to see more people ride it. So, until next time, go out and ride some.